So let's talk about doom and despair, because that has become the omniscient problem. The world kind of went into a bad direction. It's always been in a bad direction, actually, but we've now become very aware of it. And people's attitudes are falling into a place of hopelessness. And that's like the worst thing that could happen. That's like the only thing that really can't happen or shouldn't happen. So let's talk about that. But first, it's extremely positive. I got a job. For those who have followed the journey, I got a job. It's actually crazy because I was applying to places for 5 months diligently. Last week or 2 weeks ago maybe, I went around and was applying to places in person, trying to get a plan together. And the crazy thing is, after trying so hard for so long, devising plans, trying to get the thing that I wanted, I just let go, whatever that even means. I let go of everything, and 2 days later, I put my attention on God. That's what I mean when I say I let go. And 2 days later, I got hired at a place the same day I gave them my resume. Now I'm rich. Making $9 an hour. Now I'm rich. Sounds like it's supposed to sound out here. So let's talk about doom and despair. Everything is as it should be. Doom and despair. I was thinking about this while I was at work today, while I was working my job. I was putting fries in a bag and I was thinking of, man, the dread that has become so prevalent in real life. And it all begins from the internet, because people then watch the internet and then they talk about what they see on the internet. But the dread and the despair, it's like when I was playing football in high school or college, high school specifically. There were people sometimes, maybe we were going to play a game against somebody who was really good, and there were people on the team who were like always talking about how we were doomed, we were going to lose the game for sure. The team is way better than us. They have they're a bigger school. They've got all of these amenities that we don't have. The game is hopeless. And it's like, yeah, but we still have to play the game. So why are you saying all of that? We still have to play the game. And that's what people are doing regarding our life right now. A lot of people are, it doesn't do it justice if I say they're complaining. That's not what they're doing. They're saying that we are from a good place maybe, but they're saying we're doomed. They feel like we as a species, as human beings, as children of God, have reached a place of desperation. And I looked up the definition for desperation the other day. And I looked it up because it was before I got a job. And I was like, am I desperate right now? Have I become a desperate person? Because I'm trying to do something, which is get a job. But I'm not able to achieve that which I'm setting out to do. And I keep trying so hard, but I can't do it. Am I desperate? And I looked up the definition of desperate, and it's something like being in a situation which is impossible to bear. Being in a situation which is impossible to overcome. And I read that. And I knew right away, I was like, dude, if I consider myself to be desperate, I'm lying. Because the things that I'm dealing with right now, that we're all dealing with, that I'm dealing with, in my personal life, things I talk about, they're painful, and they're not what I would write up, they're not what I would choose, but I know in my heart they're not impossible. And none of this is impossible. It's actually, that's the paradox, which is that we have desires and fears, things we're afraid of and things that we want. But then there's things that we need. And it's often the struggle where growth occurs. It's often the adverse times. Most of the best moments of my life were the times where everything seemed the most bleak. The times that were the most painful when I was in the midst of them. And so it's not what I would choose. It's not what we would choose. None of this is. But that is where growth happens, in the adversity. It really is. I know that's a cliche thing to say, but it really is. I saw this guy on YouTube the other day. This is kind of a side note, but it's along the lines of despair. He was despairing over the fact that he doesn't get many views. He was saying he used to get a lot of views, now he doesn't get very many views. I mean, he was panicking, like he was despairing. And there was something kind of honest about it. But I was also just like, views, I fall into that trap sometimes as well. I'll be honest about that, but it's very obvious that views don't matter. Attention doesn't matter, views doesn't matter, being financially wealthy doesn't matter. It's cliche to say at this point, but life is short. 100 years from now, my time on this earth will be over. The amount of views I got will not matter. How wealthy I was will not matter. It's not about the amount of views in your life. It's about the amount of life in your views. You've got to put life into your views. You've got to create content that is worthwhile. And I guess I bring that up because regarding despair and hope, many people in that similar boat, they're despairing over views and money and things like that. And I think it's often because they want to be venerated. They want to be a king. David was a king in the Old Testament of the Bible, King David. And the thing about David was a king. David, before he was a king, his country was in trouble, and he took a rock, and it's the same thing as the terrible odds that we face as a humanity right now. And I know things look hopeless. David is in front of Goliath. Things look hopeless. But David was confident. David had faith. David had been down this road many times before. He was a shepherd. He'd been through adversity. Lions tried to steal his sheep. Bears tried to steal his sheep. He took his, what is that thing called? Slingshot, and saved his sheep every time. So now he sees this giant man, Goliath, and it's not a big deal. He has faith. He has confidence. But the really crazy thing about David, everybody wants to be a king, but we also want to despair over Goliath. You can't have both. You can't be who you're supposed to be and also despair when you look Goliath in the eyes. But even more than that, yeah, life seems bleak sometimes. We're not all meant to defeat Goliath. We're not all meant to become a king. And honestly, to those who want to become a king, maybe you're not supposed to be, because that's like the worst trait. If you want to be a king, if you want to be a leader, the prerequisite for being a leader is something like not wanting it, because you understand it and you don't want to carry that weight. It's more like you have to. But before David was doing any of that, before he was fighting Goliath, before he became king, he had a harp and he was enjoying his life. The only reason he fought Goliath is because King Saul, the king at the time, his soul was completely out of whack. He had no peace. The only thing that brought him peace was listening to David play the harp. It's like that song, David played a secret chord, and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do you? Many people don't care for music. Many people just want to be king. They don't want to look despair, which is the giant Goliath, in the eyes and remain faithful. And they certainly don't want to just calm down and patiently enjoy their life, doing the thing that they like to do, finding the harp, finding writing, finding art, finding something that you enjoy doing. Right. So that's the solution for the despair and the dread and the hopelessness. Certainly don't look dread and despair in the eyes and let it take away your joy and your hope. But also, just find a harp and play it. Life is a lot like a song. Everything is as it should be. You just have to dance in the melody. All is well. And for now, that's all that I have. Goodbye.